Welcome to a very, very special edition of the Andy Staples Show with Ari Wasserman. It's the A.S.S. Awards, everybody. The Andy Staples Show Awards. We know what the initials spell. And now it's time to give out the awards for the best of this college football season. And Ari, this has been a tremendous college football season.
And I think the actual award is called Top Ass. So if you get it, that's what it's called.
There you go.
Yeah, so I'm excited to go down memory lane. It's a lot of moments this year, a lot of fun, so we're going to do some funny categories, mostly funny categories, but a few serious ones too.
Do we get the serious ones out of the way initially? So let's just get them out of the serious ones right now. Okay. Coach of the year. I feel like this is obvious. Somebody took a 5-7 team to the freaking national title game. Sonny Dykes. Congratulations.
Yeah, and he actually won the real coach of the year. So I don't know if we're really reinventing the wheel here. But yeah, what he did with TCU this year, I know there's been a lot of victory laps and a lot of Stars Matter discussion. And, part of me feels bad that we kind of overlooked the build that he had in this year with the way that he not only developed his roster, but flipped it in a very short amount of time and got them to the last game of the season. I mean, individual coaching jobs as far as they go. I mean, I don't know that you could, and if you would have told me too, like there was anybody else could win the coach of the year at the beginning of the season when Kansas went 6-0 or was it 5-0?
They were 5-0. They didn't win number 6 until they beat Oklahoma State.
Yeah, so maybe it kind of the wheels fell off a little bit at the end there, but Lance Leipold seemed to be a stranglehold on that, and then
Josh Heupel seemed to have a pretty good grip on it too.
I mean, those are other nominations for sure. I mean, Josh Heupel, if Hendon Hooker doesn't get hurt, you might have had a different ending to the year, maybe not. I don't know, but it was a good year for coaching all around. And of course, Kirby Smart is nominated too, because he won back-to-back national championships.
Yes. Usually coach of the year is you exceeded expectations. We expected Georgia to compete for the national title. Yeah. It is funny though, that just being the best at it sometimes isn't enough. And so sorry, Kirby, but
he'll take his ring, I think.
Exactly. This is one of those award shows where we're sometimes it'll be like the traditional award show and the nominees are. Sometimes we're just going to tell you who won. One of our listeners, Jeremy, had a really good idea for a category because it just, goes against Ari's whole Stars Matter ethos. It is the most improved 3-star award. Ari, I feel like this is obvious. This has to be Stetson Bennett.
Yeah. I mean, most improved for this year. I mean, he was a defending national champion already.
He still improved over the course of this year.
Because that was his best game, right? The national title game. Was that his best game?
Of 2021. Maybe it was the UAB game was incredible from a stat line perspective, but it was against UAB. So, yeah, I think the 2022 season, he was considerably better, and especially at the end. He had maybe his 2 best games against Ohio State and TCU.
Yeah, I could get on board with that.
So, the player of the year, which is sort of different from the Heisman Trophy, I suppose, but not really. It's the guy that if we were picking first in a college football draft for a college football team, based on the players this season and what they did, who would we take number 1? If we were on the playground, who would we take at number 1? Ari, I think we'd take the same person, right?
Yes. Yeah. Caleb Williams, without question, I think was the most exciting player to watch too this year.
And one of the most interesting ones, because we know Caleb Williams has basically been getting prepared for this his entire life, basically since he was 5 years old. If you watch the Heisman ceremony, you heard about all of that stuff. But this is a guy who transferred and immediately won the Heisman on his next team. I think we're going to see that happen every once in a while. It's not going to be every year, but we're going to see that happen where a guy leaves the school. Now, in this case, he was following a coach. But remember, he didn't immediately transfer to USC. There was some grab ass in there.
There was a little grab ass in there.
Do you imagine if he'd gone to Wisconsin?
Remember when we thought there was a possibility of that happening?
I remember.
Did we have like a 30-minute conversation about that?
I think they were just trying to heighten the drama, but just imagine.
I'll be clever and add some news into this podcast, but Lincoln Riley said he wasn't going to make any changes to his staff on Tuesday. which means Alex Grinch is returning to the Trojans as their defensive coordinator again.
Mm-hmm.
So Caleb Williams likes to go by Superman, right?
Yep.
I don't know if Superman's strong enough to fix that problem, but we have a whole nother year of watching him try to outscore the other teams that he's playing, and I think it's going to be another show. So, congratulations to him for the grab ass player of the year, and you're certainly going to see a lot more grab ass in USC games.
He's actually involved in one of our nominees for grab ass play of the year, which is one of the obviously the big categories, sort of like best picture. We don't get to that till near the end.
Yeah,
but he's involved in that. So probably not as much as he should have been, but
not his fault, but he was in it. Yeah,
exactly. I want to go a little bit different direction. The offense of the year. And obviously we could go with something like USC. We could go with Tennessee, but none of these offenses provided the level of content that our offense of the year provided for us. We have not had one particular unit side of the ball from one team give us multiple shows worth of content until this season. So
just in case you haven't noticed, this is when the grab ass of the grab ass awards begins.
Exactly.
So this is the offense of the year, you're saying?
Yes, the offense of the year or the offense of the year. It's one of the two.
Yes.
It's probably the same thing.
Your Iowa Hawkeyes.
That's right. Come on down, Brian Ferentz. Collect your award.
Collect your award.
It was the only award you were going to get for coaching this season.
They say that bad offense is not entertaining football to watch, but if you ever eclipse the sound barrier, I guess is the only way to put it, and are so bad that it's inherently compelling to see how bad it can get, then there's no, that was one of the most entertaining storylines of the entire season. Like, think about it. They were so bad that we had to watch to see if they would score.
Yes. Think about the level of sicko game that Iowa-Wisconsin was this year.
Yes, and they won games. The Offense of the Year award also could go to Iowa's defense too. So, I don't know who you want to give it to.
What we should do is, if we had the actual award ceremony and we're handing out the trophy, we would call up Brian Ferentz, and then as we were about to hand it to him, yank it away and say, "Phil Parker, come get your trophy."
Yeah. There is a defensive back on Iowa's defense that scored more scored on more passes this year than the entire Iowa receiving corps combined. I'm going to say that again. A person in Iowa's secondary had 3 pick sixes this year, which I believe were more, and that stat might actually be before the bowl game, or it might have been after, I don't know, but had more touchdown catches than the entire Iowa receiving corps combined.
It is truly,
and I truly think it's remarkable that
Cooper DeJean is who you're talking about.
Yes. And if you're looking up the stat right now, I'd like to know if that was the way that the season ended or not.
Cooper finished with 3 pick sixes.
Yeah.
The other, they had one other pick six, but Cooper had 3 of the 4. So that is a truly amazing stat. Phil Parker, you get the trophy. Brian Ferentz, we're gonna yank it away from you. But from the bottom of our hearts, thank you for providing so much content for us all year. I know the listeners occasionally got tired of hearing about Iowa, but I think already most of them really appreciated it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, and Iowa football for most of the year was can't miss television. So, there's a lot of awards, and I think that they could be up for this year, but their offense and defense being nominees for the best offense of the year, I think, is the greatest way that we can honor them.
Yes. Yeah. And so thank you so much, Hawkeyes. This is, we have not heard anything about what's going to happen. My initial thought was Bill O'Brien might become the Patriots offensive coordinator. All the Alabama fans waiting with bated breath to hear what happens there. But potentially Brian Ferentz and the Ferentzes in the Belichick tree, they intertwine. So potentially you could have Brian Ferentz as their offensive line coach if that happened. But we haven't heard anything about any changes yet. Cade McNamara tells us the offense is going to be awesome at Iowa next year.
I mean, that's what you have to believe if you actually make yourself go to school there.
It is truly amazing. I assumed he went because he was told some changes were coming. So
I mean, have those changes happened yet?
No.
And if they haven't happened yet on January 11th, don't the odds of those happening, like, isn't this usually the witching hour for coaches who are on the hot seat right now?
Mm-hmm.
The assistants?
Yeah. You still have the occasional right after the February signing day, everybody moves along. But so far, nothing yet. Ari, let's move on now to one of my favorite categories, the NIL Deal of the Year. I will say we already have an early nomination for 2023 NIL Deal of the Year for the 2023 season, which will not happen until next year. We won't give it out till next year. But did you see that General Booty, the Oklahoma quarterback, has a booty cream? He calls it Crimson and Cream. Oklahoma's the man has a head for marketing.
I mean, if you're going to have that name, it would be a damn shame to not profit off of it. And I'm so thankful that it coincided with his eligibility, because if he were a quarterback at Oklahoma 3 years ago, he might not have had this opportunity. And that could be a bet. Whoever loses the next bet that we have has to rub General Booty ass cream on their ass.
Booty cream. Booty cream. But
what's the use of that? What is it? Like, do you just it's supposed to moisturize? Is it just
it's
a lotion?
Moisturizer. Yeah, you can put it anywhere. You don't have to put it on your booty, but
have you ever moisturized your ass before?
Never felt the need to, but if I got some booty cream, I'd probably use it there.
Because I know that lotion, like, there's people who are like lotion every day.
Yes.
Lather themselves. I'm not that person.
They're called my wife. Yeah.
But like, they're usually females, right? But
yes.
There are men too that lotion their entire bodies every day. Mm-hmm. And I feel like if you were to get into that habit, like it was brushing your teeth, it would be a very nice thing to do for yourself. Sure. But I've never heard of anybody lotioning
up
their
butt.
But like, it's also reminds me of that movie, Mr. Deeds. Have you seen that movie?
Yes, I have.
When the guy's he's trying to talk to him in the shower and he goes, "For God's sakes, will you please stop soaping your ass?"
So General Booty, send us some booty cream. We'll try it on our booties and we'll see how it goes.
That could be the first episode of the OnlyFans.
Of the dudes
Andy
everywhere
applying General Booty ass cream during the ass awards on his ass. I mean, that's
people might see the Brian Ferentz tattoo. I haven't lost a bet like that yet. Just give it time. So,
could I ever get you to put a bet in where tattooing your body was on the table?
A tattoo on my ass? It depends on the tattoo.
A picture of Iowa's offensive statistical numbers on your left butt cheek.
Wait, left butt cheek is Iowa's offense. Right butt cheek is Iowa's defensive scores.
And sure enough, PPY right there on the other. Yeah,
that's exactly right. All right, so that is for next year, though. This year, we need to honor the best NIL deal. But before we get to the winner, I do want to honor the runner-up, because the runner-up was awesome. And that is, of course, the DeColdest Crawford HVAC commercial in Lincoln, Nebraska. Here it is.
I'm so glad we called SOS. Our AC is the coldest.
I'm always the coldest.
SOS to the rescue.
Hey, this is DeColdest Crawford, wide receiver from Louisiana, now playing in Lincoln. When your AC isn't the coldest, you call SOS Heating and Cooling. Their techs don't make commissions, so they give you an honest opinion, fair pricing, and longer warranties than the competition guaranteed. Take it from DeColdest. We will keep you cool this summer.
SOS.
Oh, DeColdest. DeColdest is in the transfer portal now. So all you HVAC companies out there, keep an eye on the portal to figure out where he lands.
That would be a really good living if football doesn't work out for him. He could go to like 5 different schools through the transfer portal and just keep doing air conditioning commercials.
It would be tremendous. I mean, I almost think he should keep doing commercials for this company.
I thought he did a great job.
There's some name recognition already.
This is what we thought the NIL was supposed to be, and it turned into a 2-year debate about inducement and cheating. But like that, when it's done the right way, it's perfect.
Well, We know one group that did it the right way, and that's the folks behind Bijan Mustardson. Bijan Robinson, Texas running back, probably the best, just from a pure skill set standpoint, the best back in the country. He'll probably be the first running back off the board in the draft next year. He has his own Dijon mustard. And, well, after Texas covered against Alabama this year, I had to eat an entire bottle of Bijan Mustardson during a show. I got to say, it was pretty delicious. Bijan Mustardson, NIL deal of the year.
Just take the big cap off.
Oh.
I'm trying to decide if it's more like a field goal in my mouth or a touchdown in my mouth.
I feel like that. I feel like we could just do it. Like, just keep doing that.
Guys,
I just want to hit Iowa in the over.
I want to let you know. I want to announce the mustard is done.
Okay.
Bijan Robinson, Bijan Mustardson. This is a tremendous product. I highly recommend it to everyone. Great on its own. Can't wait to try it on these pretzels later because I want to pop these pretzels back in the microwave so I can do some dipping. So I got another bottle. We may go through 2 bottles of Dijon Mustardson today. You're just only going to watch me do one.
Yeah, I think for your sake, you should probably just relax. But, that's up to you.
So 60 minutes later, there was some distress. But it was a passing distress. It passed out of my body. And I'd say there was about 5 to 12 minutes of solid discomfort. And I felt great.
Did you hear them during that clip? I was like, just one time I need to get Iowa in the over.
I did. And they did against Rutgers.
Yeah, they did it one time this year. But yeah, that was, I think I would have called it Bijan Mustard.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that would have been a better name for it, but I guess
Bijan mustard, yes.
Because it's Dijon mustard, Bijan, that's the pun. The Mustardson is a little bit of a stretch to me. But I guess you have
to kind of like the Mustardson better.
I guess if they have Mustardson as the last name on the thing, then people are more aware that the NIL deal exists. So, no hate. Just thought maybe it would be a more apt name if it was Dijon mustard. Bijan mustard.
Bijan mustard would be a good name. That would be a tremendous name. All right, we have a bunch more categories. We've got the Ass Chew of the year, the conspiracy theory of the year, the grab ass play of the year, of course. That'll be our final category. We've got a lot coming. The Ari's bad beat of the year. Let's do that when we come back. It's maybe my favorite football play of the season. We'll be right back. We're a few days into the new year. How you hanging with those resolutions? You doing something to make yourself healthier every day? Let me give you something very easy. Join the Peloton family. I know what you're thinking. I'm not a bike person. What do I do? That's the bike. No, Peloton is a lot more than just bikes. They make bikes, treadmills, and they have classes that incorporate all kinds of things. They have high-intensity interval training. They have strength training, yoga, boxing, you name it. And all you got to do is download that app and get started. Peloton instructors, they become like members of the family. When you're on the road, they're great. You can make a hotel gym into a world-class workout facility. I know what you're thinking. I'm a bigger guy, so I know what you guys are thinking. A hotel gym doesn't have more than 50-pound dumbbells. I got to lift more than that. If you can do an Adrian Williams Thunder 45 workout with 50-pound dumbbells, I will shake your hand. Trust me, the hotel gym has everything you need when you're using Peloton. So try Peloton risk-free with a 30-day home trial. New members only, not available in remote locations. See additional terms at onepeloton.com/home-trial. That's onepeloton.com/home-trial. Now, I don't often wear pants when I podcast, but I do wear pants in other places because it's really not socially acceptable to go without them. And I am holding right now my favorite pair of pants. Is my Roan commuter joggers. I have these in 3 different colors. I have them in a nice dark gray. I have them in khaki. And when I get home from this trip that I'm on right now, there will be a new pair of black ones waiting for me. I was wearing Roan long before they became a sponsor because they make the coolest, best clothes for a gentleman of the early 2020s. Men's clothes were due for radical reinvention. Roan stepped up to the challenge. The commuter jogger is my absolute favorite pant because, let's face it, I have very sexy ankles and I want to show them off. Now, if you don't have such sexy ankles, then you want to go with the commuter pant. I got a pair of those too. They're awesome. They're in navy, beautiful, go with everything. The commuter dress shirt is incredible. 4-way stretch, hugs you in all the right places, makes you look great at all times. It's absolutely perfect. And, oh, by the way, the commuter polo, perfect for any occasion. I now have 4 of them in my closet. Again, all of them I owned before Roan came on as a sponsor. But Roan, hey, look, since we're in business now, let's go. This is the best stuff in my closet. This is my favorite brand, and I'm so happy that they've come aboard as a sponsor. You want these commuter joggers. They fit perfectly. They go everywhere you go. They fit any occasion. It's hard sometimes to find stuff that looks cool, but also you can wear to work. Roan solves that problem. Now, if you're me, you don't have to wear pants to work, but I imagine most of you do. So go to roan.com/Andy23 and use your promo code Andy23 to get 20% off your order. That's Roan, RHONE.com/Andy23 and use the code Andy23 to get 20% off your order. Welcome back. It's now time for Ari's Bad Beat of the Year. And Ari, there are a couple games that really fit this bill. Boise State, Utah State was up there in terms of bad beats. How did that one finish?
Utah State was down by 5, and were catching 16.5 points, and they were driving to Boise State's end zone. I think they were close to the red zone. They threw a pick, and then Boise ended up winning by 17. There was like a minute and a half left. They scored 2 more touchdowns to not cover 16.5, which was insane. But that was more of a long-term bad beat. You know how there are certain bad beats that take multiple drives and multiple grab-ass plays. The worst bad beats, I think, is when you're 5 seconds away and the worst of the worst happens. So we'll get into those.
I remember a time like that. We were doing a show, actually. It was the night, I believe, that they had the 2 basketball games, and in between the 2 basketball games, they revealed the college football playoff ranking. And so naturally, we flipped over to the Maction game between Bowling Green and Toledo as we finished talking, and it was you and me and Max Olson and Sam Kahn Jr. from the Max and Sam show, and we were discussing the rankings, and you were, had some extracurricular stuff going on.
You should never tell people that are listening to the show live what you're on because it's a curse.
Right. And so at this point, Toledo has come back to take the lead on Bowling Green, and it looks like Toledo is going to cruise to victory. What did you have? What were you on at that point?
Yeah, I think Toledo was down by 7 points at halftime. They were down by 7 at halftime, and then they were down by 13 in the third quarter. And then at that point, I think I took Toledo to win outright, which was like 3-1. And then I also had plus 6.5. And Bowling Green drove down the field in the last 45 seconds of the game and hit that crossing route that was like a wide open receiver who was running, and you would think if they could just tackle him that they would kick a field goal and you'd get the 6.5. And there was just like 9 people bounced off the ball carrier like bumper cars, and he walked into the end zone, and you guys were all screaming like, oh, every single time somebody made a tackle. Yeah.
Would everybody like to hear Ari's heartbreak in real time? Because we've got that clip.
I don't know if you guys have Maction on, but the 5th most intense rivalry in college football is coming down to the wire here.
Oh, boy. Yeah. The battle for I-75?
Yeah. Toledo just scored a touchdown to tie it at 34 with 52 seconds left.
And it's
pending the extra point in the snow, but they're reviewing if he stepped out of bounds at the 1. So we're going to get some
on this one, Ari.
I hit Toledo plus 225 when they were losing, so I'm sweating right now. That you wouldn't. Oh God.
This edge rusher number 91 for no! He's still going! Touchdown! He scored! Green!
Touchdown!
That was amazing.
Oh,
my
Ari,
goodness.
I'm so sorry.
It's kind of the receiver. It's almost like he thought for a
people-
second, do I need to lay down here and
Psychopaths.
set up the field goal?
Yes.
42 yards. Wow.
Behind Keith. That was incredible.
That was
Third
awesome.
and long, Well, once again.
My wife
You are
just
our
texted me, how much did we lose?
You came back nicely, though, didn't you?
Well, the funniest thing about that is watching how happy you guys were. Like, you knew the situation I was in, and you were cheering, go, go. And Sam put his hands up, and he does the it's good arm thing. And then at the end of the original video that you didn't get to the end of there, he said, wow, that was awesome.
Oh,
Like,
no,
right
that was in there.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
That was amazing. It's like, come on, Sam. Yeah,
It
that
was
was
pretty amazing.
that was brutal.
It heightened my joy because we had that discussion where you talked about your group of friends. You all bet on the same things
Mhm.
so that you can't make fun of each other when one loses and the other wins.
Solidarity, man.
I think that's completely wrong. I think the busting of the chops is half the fun.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's plenty of busting the chops. If you saw our fantasy football game thread, fantasy thread, you'd have some concerns. But yeah, that was really brutal. But there was one more that was terrible that I was on too, and that was the end of the bowl game between Mississippi State and Illinois.
Oh yes,
I had
Oh, my
Illinois
God.
plus 3.5, and they did the
Oh.
laterals. They did
Yes,
the laterals at the end.
as Scott Van Pelt calls it, pitchy pitchy woo woo.
Yeah, pitchy woo woo. But they were at their like 40.
Right.
Like they were actually like for a minute
they
there,
were
it looked like
moving.
Illinois
Like,
was going to
they-
score.
It was
Yeah.
effective. It was looking
And-
like it was going to be good. But then balls
One
on the
cross-
ground, scoop and score.
I mean, if they did the ball even touch the ground? I think that he might have caught it. Looked like
Oh, maybe he caught it.
the
Yeah.
Tennessee Titans Super Bowl back pass, except it went to the defense this
There are
time.
no flags on the field.
Yeah, I can't. So I mean, that stuff happens sometimes, and you never remember the good ones. You only remember the bad ones. But I do
We're
have
gonna
one
remember
good
We're
memory.
gonna remember a good one.
You want to
We're
know the
gonna do
best one I've ever
best
hit?
bet of the year. Oh yeah.
Well, let me tell you the
Oh.
best bad beat in reverse I hit,
Oh,
where
okay.
I should have
Yes.
lost and won.
Absolutely.
I had a pretty hefty penny, and I don't remember what year it was. It was the Michigan State game
Mhm.
where Michigan punted the ball at the end and they blocked it, and
Trouble with the snap.
with a punter bobbled the snap. And
Yes, 2015. Yep.
2015, I had
Jalen
Michigan
Watts
State
Jackson,
winning that game.
Michigan State scores,
And I think
to
they
win the
were
game.
I think they were underdogs.
Oh,
And I had Michigan State, and I was covering an Ohio State game, so I went downstairs because the Ohio State game had just ended or was just beginning. I don't know. I remember I missed the end, and they showed the game on replay. I already thought I lost. They showed it on replay on the jumbotron, and I looked up and I was like, I don't deserve this. So I guess I'm paying the karmic toll right now.
Well, it's not all bad because you did have a best bet of the year,
Yes.
and it happened very recently. What was the best bet of the year?
Best bet of the year and biggest bet of my year this year was Georgia minus 12.5 in the national championship game. And I got a little bit nervous because a lot of gambling experts were saying, that the 13.5 was too many points, or 14 was too many points. And, when it dropped down to 12.5, I thought I'm going to take this now before people come to their senses. And I think it went up to 13.5 before the game started. And Andy, whenever you have a really big bet, it's never easy, or you always have to sweat, or you're on pins and needles for the entire second half.
Nope.
Buddy, I don't even think I was writing. I didn't even watch the second quarter, the second half of the third quarter and the fourth quarter intently, because it was such a breeze. And, sometimes I feel like if I just like to think, like, if Las Vegas created a line that was Georgia minus 27 in the national championship game that nobody on earth would have picked, that would have been too many points, right? So it's like this weird no man's land between setting a reasonable line and hoping that people will still lay the points, but also hoping people will take the points. And like the mismatch in this was the largest mismatch in title game history. So, I thought I'd bet on myself.
There were a lot of people on TCU, and I don't know if they're trying to talk themselves into it, or like in terms of TV people, were they just doing it to hype the game because it was on their network? Like, on game day, didn't Desmond and Lee Corso pick TCU?
Andy, I think 7 of the 28 people who picked the game for us picked TCU. Straight up. So yeah, no, I mean, you got to go back. It's like so easy to be like, oh my God, that was so easy. I can't believe how easy that was. And it was, but like going into the game, there was very little. I don't know. I didn't hear a lot of people. I think you and I agreed on this, but outside of us, I don't know that I heard a lot of people saying this is going to be a bloodbath.
See, I heard a lot of people saying it privately. Maybe they didn't say it on the air.
But why do you think that happens? Why do you think that's the case?
Because you want it to be a good game. I guess you don't want to be mean. I'm not entirely sure, because I think I pretty much said I think Georgia's going to cover. Now, I don't think I said Georgia was going to beat them by that much, but
yeah,
I think I said something like 31-17 or something like that.
Yeah, my score I think was 44-17. I thought it was going to be a blowout. I didn't think it was going to be a complete and utter annihilation. But you know, if you're an analyst and you get paid to do this, then you gotta tell the truth, even if you think it's going to make people mad. That's the existence I live in every day. So, but yeah, that was easy as hell. And then also Georgia to begin the year, -17 against Oregon was a pretty easy one too. So there was a good Georgia bookends start and end the year.
Speaking of the Bulldogs, we have a category called Ass Chew of the Year. And, you know, we've had some.
Can I say one thing before you go to the next one, Andy? I'm sorry.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
We have to have the dumb grab ass bet of the year, and that's taking Anthony Richardson to win the Heisman at 50-1.
Ah, yes. That was incredibly dumb.
Yes. Okay, go ahead.
Well, actually, I don't mind if you vamp a little bit, because there is a nominee for this that I had completely forgotten about, that I feel like we need to point out, because it involves a friend of yours. And
Ass Chew of the Year?
Yeah. It involves
a friend of mine.
Your dad. I'm your podcast stepdad. It involves your podcast.
Oh,
dad.
That's right. Yeah. Well, who got the ass chew? I feel like I think the reporter was kind of chewing more ass than the coach.
Well, remember, so we're talking about Doug Lesmerises from the Cleveland Plain Dealer.
Yeah.
Asking the question of Kirk Ferentz after the Iowa-Ohio State game, because Doug covers Ohio State, of don't you owe it to your employer to put a better offense on the field, to make changes, to consider making changes. But remember, Kirk came back on Monday in Iowa City.
Yep.
And had a little shot at Doug. So let's hear that one.
I complimented the guys on Sunday, just, because during the questioning, in some cases interrogation on Saturday that I experienced. And the one good thing about that, it dawned on me coming home, I said, man, as bad as today was, it could have been worse, because I could have been that guy. I could have been that guy, like had his job and had to act like he did. So, yeah, it could be a hell of a lot worse, right? Things aren't all bad.
So Kirk Ferentz eventually apologized for that. He should know better, talking about Ari's podcast dad.
Well, the thing that I never really understood about that clip, Andy, was that he was making fun of Doug's job to a bunch of people who have Doug's job.
Right, exactly.
It's like, that's kind of messed up.
Right.
Like, you think that,
some of them actually may envy Doug's job.
Yeah, most of them probably do. Doug has a great job. I take Doug's job.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like, there's a lot of people out there that wish they had our jobs too. It's a sliding scale. But yes, that was kind of messed up.
The Ass Chew of the Year, though, this is a nod to Nick Saban, obviously, who is the king of this, the emperor of ass chewing. But this one's not for disciplinary reasons. This is more of a pump-up speech, but falls into the same category, and you can only imagine getting your ass chewed by this guy. But this is just going to make you want to run through a wall. Of course, it goes to Kirby Smart before the national title game.
Trust your preparation. Your ass is prepared for this for 365 days. I think about that locker room. Think about getting our opportunity. All the shit we went through this week to get ready for this game. Now is when you pay the price. You go out there with energy, enthusiasm. Hey, guys, ain't nobody in this room should be cautious. Ain't nobody in this room should be nervous about shit. Go out here and their ass up. Don't think about scoreboard. Don't think about shit. You think about knocking the shit out. Did you hear what Box said on Monday? When I sat in that meeting, I wanted to go play right then. Tore your shit up out here. 2 years ago, your shit up. Goddamn pride and joy tells me you these guys up. You go play the right way. You play the right way. You knock their ass off. You stay off the ground. You tackle the ball. The shit's easy. Look at the right shit. Punish their ass on offense and kick their ass on special teams, guys. about who the fuck we are. I believe in you. Let's go.
How does anyone else have a chance with that maniac coaching those aliens?
Yeah, do you know what my favorite part of that was? And it wasn't the cursing. When he said in the middle of it, this shit is easy.
Right.
Because when you have those robots on your team, it really is as simple as kick their ass. And that wasn't technically him yelling at anybody, but that was a good ass chilling. So
it was tremendous.
That was absolutely I mean, because it got released the night of the game. Like after the game was over, it came out. It was just like that was the perfect pregame. There was no like violin or dramatic music or let's go win one for the Gipper or whatever. Anyone? Yeah. I mean, it was just like let's just go. You know who we are. Let's go kick the crap out of them, and they did. That was really cool.
I can't wait to hear our buddies Rylan Godey and Tate Ratledge on the Real Talk podcast. Georgia players. I want to hear what they think about that.
Yeah, I'm sure it got the juices flowing a little bit, and
heck yeah,
and I think it is kind of cool that like there's so much minutia that goes into playing football and the places to be and the playbooks and the calls but like sometimes it's as simple as just beat the crap out of the person that's standing in front of you, and when you have the athletic advantage, I like how he kind of simplified that. It's like there's nothing to be nervous about, just go beat them up, and that's exactly what they did.
It was tremendous. Yeah, there's no science that when his halftime speech to Georgia during the 2021 Florida game leaked, that was right before Florida made a coaching change, and I remember transcribing that and saying, if you're the Florida AD, like this is who you're thinking about as you make your hire. Like that's who you're up against every day.
Yes, that's right. And it's only getting worse, I think. So good for Kirby Smart. The guy's got his life is made now, back-to-back championships. And if you look at their schedule, it should be 3. I mean, they don't play anybody next year.
Right.
I mean, they play Florida, but like
they've loaded up their non-conference after next year with, the playoff in mind.
I don't think they play a Power 5 non-conference game.
They do. They could play Georgia Tech every year.
But I mean, yeah.
Yeah, it's not. They loaded up for the expanded playoff, but they're gonna coast into the last 4 teams. So
hey, I'm gonna read it to you. Can I read it to you?
Go for it.
Opening on Saturday, September 2nd, UT Martin Skyhawks.
Oh yeah.
Then the following week is Ball State. Then home against South Carolina. Then home against UAB. Then at Auburn, which I guess could be a tricky, tough game, depending on what Hugh Freeze has up his sleeve there. Then Kentucky. Then at Vanderbilt. Then off. Then at home versus Florida. At home versus Missouri. At home against the Florida's at the neutral site. I don't know.
Yeah, it's in Jacksonville. Yep.
Home against Ole Miss at Neyland Stadium on November 18th, which might be the game of the year, depending on what Tennessee looks like last year, and then that year, and then we're closing it out against
Georgia Tech.
So like that is the easiest SEC schedule I think I've ever seen.
Well, yeah.
The crossovers are pretty advantageous.
Yeah, one of the reasons why they're ditching divisions, like Georgia's path is going to get harder, and Alabama's path is going to get easier when the divisions are gone in 2000. It'll be 2024 probably, because it looks like now that's when Oklahoma and Texas get into the league, and so it'll switch to the 3 permanent opponents, which for Georgia, one will be Auburn, one will be Florida. We'll figure out who the third one is later, but then they'll have Alabama rotating through. They'll have LSU rotating through more often. Tennessee will probably be the third one, would be my guess.
Yeah, that would be a good one.
Yeah.
But, Georgia's got I'm very excited to see what they do with their quarterback position and stuff, but they're just loaded. They've got dudes and dogs everywhere, and their schedule at least allows
Bear Alexander.
I mean,
they got a guy named Bear. Come on.
Their schedule allows them to figure it out, even if they get off to a slow start. So it's like you have like a 3-month or at least a 2-month training camp, because you don't really play a respectable opponent on the road until Auburn, September 30th. So, that'll be another great Georgia team, and we'll meet you back here at this time a year from now.
Yeah, Bear is 6'3" and 305, by the way, and he's named Bear.
crazy.
It's not fair, but it is fun to hear Kirby Smart yell. It is pretty awesome when he's doing that. So here's a category I've added. It's not in our rundown, Ari, because I had blanked on this moment, but I realized we need to honor this. This is the catch of the year, because last I checked, only one of us has ever caught a pass in an SEC game.
That's right. And I was actually thinking, like, what is the catch of the year? And I was like, oh, I'm an idiot for not knowing.
No, it's me, because we're on this show and one of us caught a pass. So that is going to be the catch of the year. Nothing else has a chance.
That also could be a nominee for Grab Ass Play of the Year, too, if we're being
probably, yeah. But you could have like the Odell Beckham Jr. catch, except it's for the national title. And this would still be the catch of the year.
I'm with you.
Here it is. Texas A&M trying to come back late at Alabama. Haynes King with Will Anderson in his lap. Take it away, my Instagram feed.
You should have kept the ball.
With my right hand, filmed the entire play. With my left hand, caught the football.
Shouldn't
it's never going to be like that again. The AD was standing right there, Ari. I'm going to steal his football.
I would have ran. I just would have ran for the hills. No, that's
Ross was a fullback. He'd have caught me.
Yeah, that's funny. That would have been a really awesome situation if you got tackled on the Alabama sideline by the Texas A&M athletic director with a Texas A&M ball in your hands. But yeah,
it's tremendous.
Yes, you congratulations on your first Grab Ass Award. It's top ass award. You deserve it, and we'll see if you can run it back next year.
Well, I'm going to put it on the shelf behind me here. We need new decorations. We haven't changed it up in a while, so I'm honored.
That actual ass award graphic we got there would be pretty tremendous.
Oh, it'd be amazing. It's basically an Emmy holding a football.
Yeah, and labeled properly.
Yes, exactly, exactly. Ari, we must pause. When we come back, we have a couple categories to get to. We've got our reaction of the year, our word of the year, our fan conspiracy of the year, and it all culminates in the Grab Ass Play of the year. We will be back shortly. Are you looking for an easy way to eat well and save money this year? Cut back on expensive takeout and delivery and get started with HelloFresh. You'll love how fast, easy, and affordable it is to whip up a restaurant-quality meal in the comfort of your own kitchen. Fast and fresh recipes are HelloFresh's latest line of meals. They feature robust flavors and filling portions, and they're ready in less than 15 minutes. You can enjoy taste and quality done quick with recipes like falafel power bowls, seared steak and potatoes with béarnaise sauce, and Southwest pork and bean burritos. The quickness here is what's amazing, because I feel like that's what was missing from the meal delivery services. I love the freshness, the ability to use real ingredients, but sometimes you don't have a lot of time. This bridges the gap. So go to HelloFresh.com/Andy22 and use the code Andy22 for 22 free meals plus free shipping. That is HelloFresh.com/Andy22. Use the code Andy22 for 22 free meals plus free shipping. As a small business owner or a hiring manager, you know that success in 2023 all depends on the people you can surround yourself with. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. With LinkedIn Jobs, you can hire qualified candidates more efficiently by matching open positions with people who have the skills, values, and experiences that will help you and your company achieve your goals. LinkedIn Jobs helps you quickly attract qualified candidates to your open job with targeting tools. You can identify the most qualified candidates on LinkedIn Jobs and connect with them fast and for free. They go beyond the resume data by using insights from your job post, your company, and their 875 million user profiles. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/Andy. That's linkedin.com/Andy to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Welcome back. So let's do our reaction of the year. This is one of my favorite moments of the football season, and I laugh every time I see it. So Colorado won exactly one game. It was an overtime win against Cal, and a Colorado fan celebrated as one should when you probably realize this is the only game your team's going to win all year.
Bob's win! I am wired! Fired! And it's fired! Let's freaking go! Buffaloes!
That is Twitter user at @BMcCartney7, who I imagine is pretty excited about Deion Sanders.
Yeah.
He's going to have to tone it down. Deion's going to win some more games.
Couldn't understand half the things he was saying there, but I'm happy that that one win brought him as much joy as maybe a national title did for Georgia fans.
That was amazing. I wish I could get that excited about anything.
No, I don't. I was just thinking, like, has anything that's happened in my life made me want to behave that way? And well, there's a few things, like when the Domino's guy gets here a little bit early.
Oh yeah. I can think of one. Let's talk about our column of the year.
Okay.
Sort of probably about halfway through the season, you and I started cranking out a lot more columns based on our discussions on the show. And I think this is the one that taught us that what resonates with our audience here on the show will resonate with the written audience as well, which sometimes there's overlap, sometimes there's not. So I'm going to let you take it away. Column of the year. A.S.S. Award.
Yeah, I guess it's weird to nominate your own work, but I think that the one that I had most fun writing and the one that had the greatest engagement was the column that I wrote that was anti-college football playoff expansion after an ongoing debate that still kind of pops up every now and then about.
It's not really a debate. I mean, I had shredded all of your arguments on the air. You then put them in writing, and then the intelligent people in the comments shredded them there.
It's funny because I read your story that you wrote off of the national championship game.
Yes.
Did you read the comment section?
No.
Am I the only sicko that reads every comment?
Probably. Because here's the thing with that one, I know who's going to disagree with me. I know they're a highly vocal minority. They've already lost. I'm laughing at them now, and I will laugh at them even more when I know they're enjoying the 12-team playoff, but they can't admit it because they were like, oh, this is the stupidest idea ever. It should stay at 4. We should go back to the BCS, the old ball system. No, you shouldn't. Those are dumb ideas. They would be stupid, and that's why they're not doing that.
I'm trying to find the headline for my story, but most of I feel like, I guess if people are pro it, they're less likely to comment, but I was very shocked by the overwhelming majority feeling like that was not what they wanted to read. Or like not that what they wanted to read, but not what they wanted to see happen in the sport. Like I think that there is a larger.
No. There's a tiny majority that comments a lot that fears change.
But if you actually took all of college football fans and put them into a pot, people who are pro, people who are against, all fans everywhere, every one of them are in a pot. What percentage of those fans do you think don't want expansion?
12. We did a study.
You think it's only 12?
Yeah, 88% wanted expansion of our list of our readers, and it was a very nice cross section. 3,500 results. Like,
yeah,
pretty.
I'm actually
3,500.
I must have missed that. I'm surprised to hear that because I would have thought at least 30%.
No, 12%. That's why I laugh at these people, because they're such a tiny minority, but they're so loud, and people think that's a lot of people. It's not.
Yeah,
the majority of the people just want better games on their TV.
That is interesting to me about the whole thing, though, is there are different ways to consume the game and to appreciate the game, and everybody likes what they like and what they don't like and whatever. So it's like, if you don't want that, then you don't want it, and if you do, then you do. But I thought at least it was a discussion worth having to hash it out.
It was a great way for all the people at the Rotary Phone Factory to spend their break. They got to read it. They got to commiserate. This is terrible.
We have to agree that this is a very monumental shift in the sport, right?
Oh, yeah.
So by having the argument the way that we did and having natural opposing views of it with multiple columns that I thought, I mean, say what you want about whether I'm right or wrong, at least it was well thought out.
Mhm.
And I think
I
that
agree.
if you read both sides of it, you kind of get a full understanding of what's happening.
Right.
And then you can decide on your own.
Right. You can decide how you fall on that, where on that spectrum you fall. Now, I would say that what happened in the playoff this year, again, proves me correct. Like,
but you can play both sides of that coin, though.
No, because the committee had no choice but to put TCU at number 3. Like that Mississippi State fan yelling about the committee, like
that's not what I'm saying.
The committee didn't have a choice.
I'm saying, and so, if the games were great, you could be like, now we're going to get more of them. And if they suck, you're going to be like, now we're not going to have this anymore.
The games were great. The 2 semifinal games were great. This particular group of 4 teams was set up for there to be 2 great games and 1 stinker. It was just a matter of how that was going to play out. And
what yours is going to do is you're going to have a bunch of great games at the beginning, and then when it culminates, they're all going to stink.
No. There will be some stinkers in the beginning too, but
yeah, I think it's going to be 80% stink probably.
As it culminates, no, it won't be. It'll be about 50-50. And then as it culminates, it'll get better because you have to actually keep winning. Like, imagine if this TCU team had to win 4 times to win the national title.
But on a given year, there's probably 2 great teams, right?
Right, and they would end up playing each other.
So it'll culminate at the end in the national championship game, most likely.
Right.
But there would be a lot of stink in there to get to that point.
There'd be a little.
It's kind of a charade.
You'd also have some evenly matched teams because, like, you would have started with a Tulane TCU game this year. That probably would have been a very competitive, fun football game. Now, a game that might have stunk, but people might have really enjoyed watching, at least people in Norman, Oklahoma might have enjoyed watching it. USC at Alabama would have been a game in the playoff this year.
Yeah.
Like, Caleb Williams against Bryce Young, Heisman winner.
Do you think that fans would enjoy watching this year's Alabama team beat the shit out of all the teams they enjoyed loving this year
USC,
on the way to the national championship?
Do you think they would have enjoyed watching the beat?
No, I'm saying,
USC?
do you think like Alabama?
They would have played USC. Ari.
No, I know.
People would have enjoyed watching that game.
No, I know, but I'm saying like Alabama would beat USC and then beat TCU and then beat whoever else they have to beat on the way.
TCU. They would have.
Let me go look at your bracket. Let me look at it.
But it would have been Georgia TCU would have been a semifinal and a very plausible semifinal had there been a 12-team playoff this year. So
we're doing it again, Andy, by the way.
Alabama would have played Ohio State in the next round, probably, or Penn State.
That'd be pretty good.
You don't want to see that game? That's the problem, is every time I tell you what the games would be, you're like, oh, well, that sounds kind of awesome.
Well, no, I mean, we saw Ohio State, Alabama, just they were playing Georgia when it happened. Like, it's like
But the thing is, you'd see Ohio State, Alabama, and then you might see the winner of that game play Georgia.
Yeah, which is better than what we had this year, for sure.
Yeah. So that's where it gets interesting, and we'll see what happens.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of like somebody trying to take advantage of somebody who doesn't know what's going on a little bit. Like, you're kind of saying to the little guy, "Hey, I've got this great idea. And it's going to be great for you. Now, listen to this. Right now, you don't have a chance to compete in the 4-team field. And if you do, it's happened 4 times. Michigan State, Washington, Cincinnati, and now TCU. 4 times out of the 8 years it's been going on. Roughly half the time, only one of you is going to make it. So what we're going to do here, and listen close, is we're going to have this 12-team field, which means that 6 of you or 8 of you will be able to get in every single year. How great is that? And then everybody goes, yeah. And then all it does is turn into the Alabama, Ohio State, Georgia, and Clemson Invitational. And it's
that's what we want.
No, but it is. We already have it. I kind of like the idea that TCU gave us something different to watch.
I didn't like 65-7.
Yeah.
Give me something different to watch in the early rounds, and then give me the Clash of the Titans as we go forward.
So then the thing that is interesting is like, why didn't we say that? Like we knew we did. I guess we did. When I say we, I mean everybody in the media. Like coming into this, there was very little discussion
talking about the playoff. People are just stupid talking about the playoff.
And it's like if you would have said TCU doesn't belong in the playoff this year, people would have gone batshit crazy. They would have gone bonkers. But like in the back of my head, or maybe in the front of my head. I think both of us in Vegas after championship weekend were sitting in that studio in Mandalay Bay, and we both knew Alabama was better than them.
But here's the thing. TCU did earn their way in, did deserve a shot. But they should also have to prove they're better than Alabama. Like, yeah, I'm for both things.
Yeah. Yeah. The only thing that, like, I don't think the best thing for the college football playoff expansion discussion isn't comparing the games versus the games, because more games is great. And if you argue against that, you're an idiot. The thing that I always thought of was, what does it mean for the 12 games that happened before the playoff? And that's been my number one, debate. I think that the same teams are going to win it, whether it's a 14 field or a 17 or 20 or 27.
We're going to be much more entertained along the way. And remember, this will have a positive effect on the 12 games before, because teams will stop the cowardly non-conference scheduling and schedule up, because it doesn't matter if you lose anymore.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll see how it goes. So, I think it's possible that in 4 years you're like, I'm sorry. All right, this is bullshit.
Nope. I guarantee it won't be. I will laugh at you. I will laugh at all of you, because it's.
I will laugh at you.
I'm serious. I will laugh at all of you, because I will be right and you will be wrong.
I do think that it's within the realm of possibility that we are watching football on a November Saturday in 2026, and you're going to say, I wish it was as high stakes as it used to be this weekend.
Nope. I'm going to say, what does this mean for the playoff? What does this mean for this team? What does this mean for these 5 teams over here? What's it mean?
Mm-hmm. But you are also more likely to trick yourself into those 5 teams over there having a chance, and I can't do it. It's not in my DNA.
I'm not tricking myself. I don't care if they win or not. I don't care if they win the national title. I would like to be entertained for 3.5 hours when their game is on. That's all I want.
Yeah.
I don't care if they win.
Andy, I think the grab ass discussion topic of the year is this debate. But
exactly.
Okay, well, so we've got 2 more. We got 2 more.
Move on. Well, no, we got a couple more. Let's move on to the word of the year. The word of the year. Webster's does one. I think the Oxford English Dictionary does one. Well, we do one too. This isn't us adding a new word to the lexicon. This one was already in the dictionary. Ari just didn't read the pronunciation. The word of the year is exacerbate, or the past tense of it, exacerbated. Games that they had no business losing, and especially
and some of those games they got out-schemed and had some personnel issues that exacerbated the issue.
Exacerbated. Keep trying.
Exacerbated.
Nope.
Exacerbated.
Nope.
I can't pronounce it. Exacerbated.
Nope. One more time.
I know how to say a word. Exacerbated.
Nope.
Exacerbated.
Spell it. Do you know how many people asked me if that was a bit?
Exacerbated.
Yes.
Is that right? I always thought there was like a T in there. Exacerbated.
Just remember there's an ass in there.
Exacerbated.
Yes. That's it.
There are plenty of other words like that in the English language. Next year we'll have another one. Exacerbated.
Well, if we play a make Andy spell the word rhythm game, I will give you 9 different combinations before I find the right one.
You want to hear a fun fact about me? I don't know how to spell the word restaurant.
My daughter, when she was learning to talk, called restaurants restaurants.
That would be easier to spell than restaurant.
So it's rest, rant. That's the easiest way to remember.
Don't you think that that's a kind of a strange way to spell that word?
No.
I can't do it. If you can't spell rhythm, it's the same thing with me in the
I know. It's a mental block. Like,
yeah.
I'm sure most people are like, rhythm is easy.
Yeah.
R-Y, whatever, however.
R-H-Y-T-H-M.
Yeah. I was spelling it wrong. See, there you go.
How do you spell it when you try to?
It always different. Because I always psych myself out. I'm like, is the H here or is the Y here? I don't know.
I think it's because there's 2 H's.
Yeah. And are there 2 Y's? Just 1 Y, right? I don't know.
R-H-Y-T-H-M.
Yes, see that's right, and
also THM is a very weird order of letters.
Yes. If it were one letter fewer, it'd make a dynamite wordle.
I'm just double checking to make sure I got it right. Yeah.
I think you did.
I did. Sure you did. I got in my own head now, and you overthink.
If I see it correct, I'm like, oh, that's correct, but I can't. If you ask me to do it, I can't do it.
RHYTHM might be one of the most oddly spelt words in the dictionary.
Yeah.
So
maybe I'll remember it now. All right. We have 2 more categories. Next category is the shot of the year. And I realize you're saying this is not a basketball podcast. Why would you have a shot of the year? Because we're not talking about that kind of shot. We are talking, of course,
the
about
vaccine.
Not that shot either. Not that kind of podcast either. We are speaking, of course, of the shot that comes in a glass. The first time Lincoln Riley's USC team caused Ari to lose a bet, but maybe not the last. There's a longer reaching bet, of course.
There was 2 bets I lost in the same game.
What's the other one?
I mean, I lost the chance to win $1,000, and then I had to take
you lost the chance to win $1,000.
Buddy, we both know who's paying, but we know who's paying who now.
We know now.
Yeah,
we know now.
You add that to the bad beat of the year while we're at it.
How about this, Ari?
Let me get out of it. Just let me out for less.
Let you buy your way out.
Let me resign. Yeah, let me
I know. You were so
I'll pay
sure
you earlier.
Nope. You were so.
Caleb Williams hamstring away from cashing that bet.
I'd rather be on the hook for paying you. Oh, actually, we do have another category after this before the grab ass play the year. But I'd rather be on the hook for paying you and then make you pay me the full amount and suffer through this. So the bet was when Lincoln Riley took the USC job, Ari said he's going to have him in the playoff within the first 3 seasons. I said, I don't think he is. It's a harder reclaim than you think. I think I'm wrong there.
No, you were right. Because the thing I thought was going to happen was that they were going to sign Alabama like classes right out of the chute.
Yeah,
I thought they were going to own California,
but I also
sign 10 or 12 top 100 players every given year, and then by year 3 they were going to be a juggernaut. And before this, we made this bet.
This was before the conference move.
I thought they were going to be in the Pac-12 in year 3.
Yes.
So that changed a lot. Like, I mean, honestly, if you think about the circumstances of me losing this bet, I got kind of screwed here.
Yeah. So they're in the Big Ten in year 3. I'm feeling very good about that year. Because they're going to have to deal with Ohio State, with Michigan.
Is that the expanded playoff, though?
That's the expanded playoff. So they could get in.
So if they get in as the 10 seed, I win?
Yes.
I'm back.
So I got screwed on that. We both got screwed in 2024 for different reasons. So I think that evens out. But I do think they're going to be dealing with a tougher road.
If they finish outside of the top 10 in year 3 of the Riley era, that would be a disaster.
Well, so think about this, though. The news of the week, they're bringing Alex Grinch back as the defensive coordinator in a Pac-12 that has probably the best collection of quarterbacks in one league since maybe
World War II
last decade.
Yeah.
The mid last decade, Big 12 had some years where there were a bunch of really good QBs, but that defense is going to have to play some really good offenses.
Yeah, no, I know it's going to be a long year for me, I think. The thing that I don't know is Lincoln Riley is getting paid a lot of money to be the head coach and the CEO of the USC football program. He's obviously more apt to understand football and the things that go on in that building more than I am. That said, I don't know if you can look at anywhere on Alex Grinch's resume in the numbers that are available to all of us from his entire career that illustrates that he should be able to turn this thing around. And they're not recruiting crazily. So what are we doing?
The last 4 games of the 2020 season. That's where you can look and find some hope.
I'm going to go look at those games because I don't even know what you're referring to. I don't remember Oklahoma ever having a good defense in any stretch ever.
That actually was a pretty good defense that at the end of that season, but that's it. That's the only one. Now they were better than historically what they were when he was at Washington State, but not when he was at Ohio State or really at Oklahoma. So yeah, it's going to be one of those years, but in this case,
that is the exact opposite of what you wrote off the Pac-12 championship game.
Well, no, exactly.
You said get serious about defense, and they did not get serious about defense.
Yeah, I said Lincoln Riley needs to get serious about defense. It didn't require firing Alex Grinch. You could do that while retaining Alex Grinch. I just don't know that they're going to do that. I think they're going to keep trying what they do. They're going to keep banging their head against that brick wall, and they're going to keep getting the same result. And that result this time, where they fell apart against Utah after Caleb Williams hurt himself, that defense couldn't hold up, and Ari had to drink a shot of tequila with a scorpion in it.
Absolutely not. No way. 3.
I didn't lose this bet, by the way. I'm just doing this out of the kindness of my heart.
3, 2, 1.
Bye.
All right. Your move, Ari.
Ari. Yeah! Woo!
Look at that face.
Survived!
Look at that face.
Let's go.
God, that's disgusting.
All right. Stuck. All right.
If you just take it like a pill, you don't.
Your turn, man.
Bottoms up.
Oh, yeah. I took that like a champ.
There you go! Easy! Easy!
Our executive producer, John Hayes, by the way, got the biggest scorpion and took it like an absolute monster.
Do we talk about the fact that entire restaurant smelled like a scorpion cage?
I've never smelled a scorpion cage, so I don't know.
It smelled like an exhibit at the zoo. Like when we got our food, I was like, oh god, I'm never going back in there.
Oh,
that was disgusting.
Don't get mad at us, Nacho Daddy. I think you're wonderful. I truly enjoyed my filet mignon nacho. So don't get mad because you had to take a scorpion shot. All right, that does lead us though, because that same game leads us to one of our nominees for the fan conspiracy theory of the year. Mm-hmm. There were a couple. The one that just blew my mind is the Caleb Williams pretended to be hurt in the Pac-12 champ. Like people were tweeting this at me, fans of other Pac-12 schools. Caleb Williams pretended to be hurt in the Pac-12 championship game. He wasn't really hurt. I'm like, what
were they saying? They were saying that he was pretending to be hurt because he was too small for the moment, and he wanted to have something to blame.
Right, exactly.
After he threw for 300 yards and
they were winning when he got hurt. Yes, they were dominating when he got hurt.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, but the best one, the Alabama-Tennessee game, which was one of the most exciting games of the year. There was a conspiracy theory after that game because there was an official in that game who signaled a touchdown for Tennessee, and he puts his hands up in the air. And as he's got his hands in the air, his hands then clench into fists, and it looks like a celebratory fist pump. And the Alabama fans went nuts. There were so many conspiracy theory videos, and this was all floating around the internet. And then, of course, some fans of other schools who didn't have a dog in the hunt are like, hey, guys, here's this guy signaling touchdowns in other games. That is how he signals touchdowns, regardless of who is competing.
The thing that I love about college football fans is they will believe literally anything that they have to believe in order to make sure their team looks good at the end of it.
Exactly.
It's like common sense and reasonable thought go out the window a lot of times with the sport, and that's okay. A rational love for your team is kind of what the sport's built off of.
Yeah. I do love the cognitive dissonance, and it's all it takes to really truly believe as a fan. But that was special, that particular one. But now we get to our grab ass play of the year, and we've got a few nominees for this one, Ari. We already mentioned the Illinois-Mississippi State ending. Pitchy woo woo. It turns into a touchdown for Mississippi State that flips the who wins on the point spread. So that was pretty bad.
Did we come up with a winner for this one? Because I think I'm really changing my mind.
We thought we did, but I'll read them all to you, and then you tell me what you think is the winner, and I'll tell you if I agree.
Okay.
So the end of Missouri-Auburn, couple things. One, they've got a easy field goal that their kicker misses. But then in overtime, Missouri is scoring. And the back drops the ball. Yeah.
Running back Nathaniel Pete reaches to the end zone and without being touched, fumbles the ball on an easy touchdown run that went out of the back of the end zone, and the game ended as a result.
Well, not even out of the back of the end zone. So from the field of play across the goal line and out of the
side of the end zone. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And the game ended that way.
And that's how the game ended. That is
If he would have held on to it for a
Brutal.
split second longer, they win.
And I had idiots be like, he's just showboating. I'm like, the guy graduated from Stanford. He dropped the ball. Like,
Yeah.
it happens. But that's a terrible place to do it. So USC running out of its own end zone at the end of the Tulane game when you have Caleb Williams as your quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
That play resulted in a safety. USC had to kick the ball to Tulane. Tulane takes the ball down the field and wins. Now, they could have not given up the 2 4th downs on that drive too, but you have Caleb Williams. Just let him do his thing. And then 4th and goal, first quarter of the Fiesta Bowl. This could have changed everything, Ari. All of our discussions about the playoff, everything. Michigan runs not a play where the Joe Moore Award-winning offensive line just tries to mash somebody and they put the ball in the end zone. Not a play where their 5-star quarterback, J.J. McCarthy, gets to throw a pass. They run Philly special. And boy, was it special.
That's the winner, right?
That's what we had decided pregame was the winner.
My heart was going to take me to the Mizzou.
That Mizzou Auburn game was awful. Like, it was.
Our boy Nevis mixed a chip shot field goal, and losing a game like that. It's like, oh my God, we won. Oh my God, we lost. Could not happen faster. Like, when you think about the brain waves that would it take, we won, we lost. Like, how quickly that happened.
Yeah.
But the fact that Michigan did that on the first drive of a playoff game, and then that theoretically, I don't know, I was there, kind of set the tone for the rest of the game of like, this is what we're doing today, you know?
Yes.
So that's probably the grab ass play of the year. There's another grab ass play of the year nominee that I think we should mention too that I just remembered.
Go for it.
The Ohio State punt against Michigan.
Oh, yes.
That was, I think, 4th and 6 or something in the third quarter of plus territory. And apparently they tried to fake it and they didn't fake it. And that's when the game was lost there too. But that was Philly special out of turn that doesn't work is the epitome of grab ass.
It was. And this show is the epitome of grab ass.
It is.
And I want to thank all of you for playing grab ass with us for an entire football season. It has been a pleasure. I'm going to take a few days off. Ari never stops working. Guys, this is not stopping though. You're with us all year. We had fun during the season, but we're going to get you through this off season too. So just get ready because none of this slows down in the off season. We're going to have tons of shows, tons of fun. We'll be here for you. Don't worry. It's a long off season.
And the return of the random ranking, Andy. I can't wait.
Oh, yes. Yes. In fact, just hit us up. Let us know which one you want us to do first. We'll do one at the end of next week. Ari, it's been a pleasure. We'll talk to you again soon.